Hey everybody, this is Hawaii This Punch for Lowkeyhighentertainment. This is actually my second video just as Lowkeyhighentertainment, so that's nice to have. So I wanted to discuss with you guys on what I'm doing. We had a talk a couple days ago, about 5 days ago, I believe, about the situation between me and another company and kind of my step down from that. So I decided to. Originally, this game was supposed to be a fast-paced, kind of shoot through. Maybe like 10 levels, call it a day. And personally, I really like this character. She's part of a much bigger universe than what her game is going to portray. But I feel like I've learned a lot with Unreal Engine and all of its cool little mechanics and things like that. And I'd really like to put out a game that is just awesome. I'm not saying like AAA quality. I'm not a big cutscene kind of creator. Maybe I'll find one later, but the demo's still going to be one level, short and sweet, and it'll display probably about a tenth of the content that I plan on to produce for this game. So right now, what I'm doing is and Project Kianna, as far as the tutorials go with the game, I'm gonna wait on those until the game releases, or at least until the demo releases. There's a couple things in there that I don't really want to give away. Different bosses, the lore bits, etc., and so on. I kind of want that to be exciting to the player. And if you've already watched the demo and built the game, you're like, nothing else can excite me here. So I think I'm gonna hold off on that. I'm still gonna do tutorials for Unreal Engine in general, so we'll still cover things like combat. I know that a lot of channels, actually, I haven't found one channel yet that does knock-up combat, like aerial combat and everything like that. And I know that's a really cool mechanic that I wish a lot more games had, and they just don't. Everything's very Dark Soulsy. So I'm gonna teach you guys how to do stuff like that, target lock-ons, wall runs, parkour, all that cool stuff. It just won't be strictly for Project Kianna. And then once the demo's out, I'll release those videos on how the game was made, everything like that. So if you're playing it and you're like, man, this is a really cool game, I wish I knew how to build that, then you can go back about, maybe a month later after the release, and it'll have all those demos, it'll have all those assets and everything that you can download, and you can build it yourself. So there's that. But right now, what I'm doing is I'm hanging out in Photoshop, and I'm putting together what's called a UI UX, which is a menu, basically. So it could be the main menu, it could be the item menu, pause menu, anything that isn't the main game that pops up. It also has like player health, all that cool stuff. So what I'm doing right now is, because I have not put this into Unreal Engine yet. This is my bare bones version. So I got a cool little background. In Unreal Engine, I'm going to make this cool little triangle thing move, give it a 3D look, and then Kianna herself will also be having a 3D look. I was thinking more of like the Mortal Kombat 4 profile selection, where she like poses and things like that, and you're able to 360 view her and all of her goodness. But yeah, so this is like the bare bones. This is like, oh man, this is what I want to do 100%. This is going to be her project profile. So for now, we're going with the main menu, which, so I wanted to do pots, items basically, between fertility, stamina, infinite pots, more like your magic, or special attack, or whatever you decide to do with that. And then small description, and I'm thinking of also putting like a key binding on it. That way it's faster and you can actually access it during combat. I think that's pretty important because there's nothing worse than having to hit the pause menu, use a health pot, and then get hit again because you forgot where you were when you paused it, or you just paused it in a bad spot. So I think that's important. I mean, you could still use them in the menu if you really want to, but I think a key binding for them would be pretty nice. So, like I said, it's bare bones. So we're gonna have the key tabs here, and I'll probably make them a little more digital looking. Maybe have the buttons move, have things glow and highlight, rotate, all that good stuff. And then we have the weapons. Each weapon is going to have like a description when you unlock it. The demo itself is going to have 4 weapons off the bat, maybe 5. I'm not entirely sure about one of them, but it'll give you a good indication. I plan on doing a lot more weapons. I would like to do a total of 25, but we'll see about that because I've always been interested in like weapon combat, and I think like things like the nunchucks are cool, or Selphie's like 3 nunchuck thing in Final Fantasy VIII. Maybe a gun blade or some crazy shit. But I do have a bigger plan for a bunch of weapons, and each weapon has a small description about it, and then your power, speed, technique. These are basically stats. Then they'll have little stars on it. Like your katana will start out with 2 power, but maybe like 3 speed or something like that. And then as you upgrade it, you upgrade the stats of your weapon. And so speaking of upgrades, and I apologize for this atrocious skill tree. I couldn't really figure out what the hell I wanted to do with it. But it's all going to be done. It's all going to be 3D rendered in Unreal Engine. So there's really no point in me drawing it out specifically. I just kind of figured that out as I was going along. But my idea here was to do a big skill tree, and then like if you wanted to go into a katana, you could go into a katana. If you wanted to go into a bow staff, you could do that. But then I was really thinking to myself, and I was like, well, you acquire every weapon differently, and like later on in the game. And there's nothing worse than unlocking a really cool weapon, and then like you're at the end of the game where you can't boost your stats, right? So the idea here is that you'll have the katana unlocked, and then like say you get the bow staff later, you'll still be able to use the same points that you have for the katana for the bow staff. So each weapon will have the exact same points that you had originally on your first tree. Things might cost a little more, but base point wise, it'll all be there. So my idea here with the katana is that like you pick up the katana and you can start off and say you want to be like super quick and speedy with it. Then you can go up a certain tree, like say, I don't know, to the left or something, and like max out the katana's speed. So you're able to, swipe really fast and combat roll and things like that. And each tree is going to have a different thing. So like your dash is going to be different depending upon the weapon that you do, or the weapon that you have. So if you have the katana and you hit the dash button, you might have like a shadow dash where you dash away and your shadow continues to fight for you for a couple seconds. That way, you're able to get away from the enemy or re-engage on somebody else, and it multiplies into your combo multiplier. Or if you want to have, the katana where you want to parry more often, or you want to be able to use like long-ranged attacks with a katana, things like that. So you can specialize each weapon to whatever you want to do. And because it's a single-player game, the combat system or the combo system is kind of going to be all over the place. Like, it's going to be completely unfair to a player that would be playing against you, because you could just juggle things for hours if you really got into it, make it like a killer instinct kind of thing. But you can fine-tune each weapon, and you can switch each weapon on the fly. So you can hit them twice with a katana, hit them once with a bow staff, uppercut them with a greatsword, etc., and so on. And each weapon's going to have a different set of skills depending upon what you want to have those skills in. And of course, later on in the game, you can max them out. You can replay it, keep your same stats, keep your weapons. And there might be, because I'm a big 90s kid, there might be a little extra once you beat the game. You never know. Hint, hint. But that's kind of where I wanted to go with the skills and everything. The next is augments. And because she's an android, or I'm sorry, she's a cyborg, and I wanted to really expand this game to be something like really unique. Of course, the black squares, it's not going to be like Diablo, if that's what you're wondering. I mean, it kind of is, but the menu will be a little different. So she'll be moving in 3D, and you'll be able to like grab your chest piece. When you grab it, it'll pop up. It'll tell you the stats, what kind of weapon it is, etc., and so on. And you can drag it onto Kianna while she's moving, and then like say you drag the chest piece or whatever, then her hold that thought. Yeah, so you drag it on the chest piece, and then her chest will glow, while you have this selected. Or like if you select, her gauntlet or whatever, it'll have her gauntlet glow, so you're able to see the cosmetic change of each one. And of course, I like the fact that I don't like that you can have weapons with like awesome stats and they look like shit. So or you think they look like shit, one of the two, or it's just not the aesthetic you're going for. So I think customization on items is super important. So I'm going to, one, allow players to edit the colors, that you'll be able to grab this armor and say it's gray right now and you want it red, or you want it, black, etc., and so on. You can change the color already in your inventory of whatever weapon. Or maybe have like a base stat that says like chest color, and then like you choose like, okay, I want the black color, and then like if it has accents, so like black and red, or black and white, yellow, whatever, and then every time you put it in there, it'll automatically change the color for you on your little kiosk over here. I think that's a very fair addition. And like I said, these menus are super bare bone, but they're a good representation. Always build your UI UX in some type of paint program before you do it, so you can kind of gauge how you like it, etc., and so on. So like I said, she'll be moving in 3D. These you'll probably be able to like spin them around, see the front and the back, and then like I said, it'll have all the stats and all that here. And then you can have your items. You can sell your items, and I think selling items for either gold is okay. I don't see the point in gold. Maybe have a store merchant. Meh. I think it'll be some type of gold. Maybe not like. Maybe it might be a crypto, like a digital currency, just as a joke. But because she's anyway. Anyway, that's kind of what I planned with her, is that you'd be able to get the gear and maybe like sell it, and then use that for different skills, or maybe there's like a weapon that has a certain like essence price or something that instead of just killing monsters, you can just stack gear, sell it off, and buy it quicker. Things like that. And the last one is the analytics, and that's more like just performance wise. Anywhere from, like I said, like so here it's like peak combo, damage, enemies killed, secrets discovered, bosses eliminated, and then it'll have its own little achievement sheet that you're able to track and things like that. I do think that achievements are important. I mean, they're nice to have, but I feel like getting certain amounts of achievements or getting a certain achievements, it's it's cool to unlock a lot of shit, and I think unlocking a lot of shit is pretty cool, honestly. um, and I do want to do something really interesting with this game, and I may or may not be able to do it later on. We'll find out. But my thought process is if you buy this game and you're like, man, I really fucking liked it. I played through it. I mastered 100% of shit or whatever. And then I'm thinking when Draymond's Edge, the actual game that comes out, that if you choose Kianna, she'll be on the roster. That she'll have something unique because you have that old game file that's like, hey, I 100% beat this game, so now I get this like cool extra skin that nobody else has because they didn't beat the game the way I beat it or something like that. Not entirely sure, but it would be a really cool feature because all of these games, like the next 4 or 5 games, are going to tie into Draymond's Edge. They're each a different character, so I think that's a cool go. I also wanted to mention that I want to do something for our speedrunners. I know speedrunners are like really good at what they do, and they'll master almost any nook and cranny. So that's pretty awesome. But I wanted to make a timer for them. That once you beat the game and finish it or whatever, and it doesn't matter if it's left-handed mode or right-handed mode. If you beat the game, you get the ending or whatever, and then you decide to replay it again. I think what I'm going to do is make a speed run version of it, and basically have a timer that on goes between levels. So no cutscenes, none of that nonsense. It's going to be like once the game starts, there's going to be like a timer here on the top, like some type of timer that says like how many to the milliseconds that you spent on this game, and then you'll be able to play through it. And then when you go from level 1 to level 2, the timer will stop, and it'll recache or whatever once the levels loaded. That way you're able to, because some computers are slower than others, so I get that. So it'll have, mission end, and then when mission ends, or the level ends, then it'll re-hashtag on level 2, re-hashtag on level 3. But it'll skip all the cutscenes. It'll skip all the in-game scenes, like if the boss gets destroyed or something like that. Like, it's like, boom, last hit, does the big cinematic explosion, and that's it. Like, boom, done deal. You don't see any characters walk into a hallway and like, there she is, like none of that. It's just like strictly 100% speedrun capable. I think that's a really cool thing, and I love that community. I think they're awesome, and I would like to give them something to mess around with. As far as that's concerned, I just wanted to show you guys, how I did, well, not really how I did the menu, but what kind of items are coming to Project Kianna. Like I said, it's going to be a way bigger game than I first anticipated on, and I'm pretty much all for that. But like I said, the demo will be 4 weapons, super sweet, super fast, and about a tenth of the content that goes on here. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to discuss with you guys. If you're still following me here, just hit that like and subscribe button. That really helps me out. It really gets the game more put out there, with the whole analytics. I'm able to make longer videos, all that cool shit. I'm also thinking of doing a store of some sort. In the comment links or in the links below, they have like an affiliate program, and I don't really know any about that nonsense, but I do know that when you're game developing and then you're like trying to find things, but you're not, you're not exactly sure what you're looking for or what you might need, and a lot of people like me, we don't have the money to be dropping, $3,000, $4,000 on one piece of equipment. So when I do find something on like Amazon or whatever, I'll post it down in the comments and I might talk about it a little bit. But like, I don't know, a couple months ago, I found a memory stick that was like 2 terabytes big, and it was only like $16. And I was like, that's a pretty damn good deal. I can just plug in that stick, put anything I want on it, it'll be fine. So things like that, like a good deal for a developer, I think those are important to have. And or somebody else in the comments knows like, oh man, I got this graphics card um, on this website for this much or whatever. Like, let me know. Let everybody else know. Let's get it going. But that's going to be the video for now. The next video I'm going to be releasing is that main menu options menu that I've been pushing off forever. I'm just going to go ahead and do it since we're not going to be covering Project Kianna's demo development yet. So I'm just going to go ahead and do how I did in the game, but like make it generic so you can put it into your own games and things like that. And like I said, if I use any assets or things like that for all that nonsense, you guys are welcome to them. They will be in the description below. Anyway, have a good one.